Hi there guys, my name is Samuel and today we shall be taking a look at the set 70678, the Castle of the Forsaken Emperor, which of course is from LEGO Ninjago Season 11, the Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitzu, and this does contain 1,218 pieces, and it has 7 minifigures, including the Ice Emperor, which that is, honestly, is such a great minifigure, and this did retail for £90 and about $100 and €100 back last year, but again, you can get this for quite heavily discounted. Like, I think I've seen this for, I know, so it's 90, I know I've seen it for prices like 60, 70, 68, somewhere like that. So yeah, you can find it, and I'm sure in Walmart's, because I've seen, like, and you always hear about crazy deals in there, so I'm sure you would have found it cheap in there. But yeah, here we have the set. It does come with the dragon and the castle, but let's take a look at the minifigures, and we'll go and have a look at the rest of the set. So here you can see we have got Cole and Lloyd with the, well, this is the Forbidden Spinjitzu Lloyd, as you can see by the energy, and then we do have Akita, which she is exclusive to this set in this form, as we do have her wolf version that does come in Lloyd's journey. Here you can see these, which I think these look really awesome. Cole's weapon again isn't that accurate. It's got black at the end, but actually, in fact, when looking at the frames, it should look more like that. But I'm seriously considering doing a video on my custom weapons, so if you're interested in that, leave a comment down below. But here you can see Cole and Lloyd, which again, I just think these are really good suits. Like, I like the fact that they've kind of gone back to keeping like a main uniform, if that makes sense, for a few seasons, but hopefully they kind of change it now. But here you can see these, which, yeah, I think these look really good minifigures. There you can see their detail, but then removing their hoods, you can see their face prints, which here you can see Cole looks pretty cross and Lloyd looks pretty stern and pretty angry there. But yeah, they're pretty cool minifigures. And then here you can see Cole and Lloyd, their back printing, which I think that is pretty cool printing. There you can see that. And then here we have Akita, which I think her minifigure is really cool. This like new wolf hat, well, not hat, it's more like form, like the top of a wolf face, and the hair combo is pretty cool. There you can see her detailing, and then she has this really unique cape, and there you can see the back of the hair, but there you can see her other face and the back of the cape, which, and the printing, which, yeah, that's a really cool cape after it. It's kind of annoying because it gets really hard, so it kind of goes out of shape quite easy. But that is Akita and Lloyd and Cole, which again, these are pretty cool minifigures. Then here you can see the Blizzard Swordmaster and the Blizzard Archer, which these are pretty cool minifigures, removing his swords. Here you can see their body printing, which I think these are done really well. There you can see the Archer and the Blizzard Master. But yeah, I think these are just really good minifigures. It's cool to have like some army figures, but it's a shame there's not as many exclusive versions. Like, going back looking at Ninjago, there's sometimes used to be more like different versions, which is kind of annoying that they don't do that anymore. There you can see the POW Ice Blue for him there on the right hand side. And yeah, these are really cool minifigures. There you can see the front, of course. There we focusing in on there. And then if we switch around, he has got the same cape that Moro used, and you can see the shards here. But yeah, these are pretty cool minifigures. There you can see the other face, which I believe it's the same one as Vex, which is a tad annoying that they have to reuse it, and that translucent blue part is quite nice. And I completely forgot he had some hair at the back. Well, that's interesting. But yeah, those are those minifigures, which I think are pretty awesome minifigures. Which then here you can see the main two villains of the second half of the season, episode 15 all the way to 30. No, sorry, I believe it's episode 16 to episode 30. And yes, Vex, here you can see him, which he is a really cool minifigure. And here we have the Ice Emperor, or Zane in other terms, which, yeah, but it's Vex is, of course, the main villain here. But yeah, there you can see them, which I think this is really cool. They've got the same body printing, I mean, armor piece, but it is reversed, of course, and taking off their helmets. There you can see their detailings, which I think these do look really cool minifigures. There you can see his moustache. No, sorry, it's not the same as the other one. It just looks similar on the other side. There you can see their printing and their shoulder pads, which look pretty cool. And removing their heads here, you can see underneath, which is really cool. There you can see Vex's and Zane's printing, which looks pretty cool. And yeah, you can definitely tell if you look at it hard, like at the eyes, it just looks like Zane. And then if we take a look at the back, you can also see some detailings here, which that's one thing I don't get. Well, I guess actually they couldn't have put the socket on the back of his head, because then we would have known who it was. But yeah, there you can see their printing, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I think these are really good minifigures, and it's cool to get them the main villains in this set. Definitely really cool, and I did like that twist. It was such a shame, though, that we knew. If we hadn't have known, that would have been such a good scene, but it was just a bit like, well, I think they made it too obvious. I think the remix of Zayn's music was good, but all of the other clues, I think they should have got rid of. They should have just left that in, but maybe if they made like a new soundtrack that used some of the same beats or some of the same strings, that could have worked really well. But yeah, it's a little bit too obvious, but still that worked really well. So here we can see the Ice Emperor's dragon, which this is Zayn's dragon, which they never really addressed this, but this is Zayn's elemental dragon, but possessed, right? Like, they never really possessed. It's like, oh, he's got a dragon. Yeah, he's got a dragon. That was it. We never really got a proper answer to what this dragon was about. But let's quickly take a look at the wings, which they use this kind of plastic material, which I really like it when they use that for the wings. And then we got the elemental blade parts for the tips, which, yeah, I think that looks really awesome. There you can see that. So looking at his legs, starting off down below, here you can see, well, his feet, they look pretty cool. They look a bit blocky, but hey, it's kind of cool that they've used the ice pieces to kind of simulate toes. And then you can see these back again, which I like the fact that they've kind of been set in the middle. That's sort of how they're intended, which is pretty cool. And then taking a look at the side of this, there you can see his leg again. I like all the detailing. I think it's done really well. You can see the ice parts there, the see-through, which, yeah, I think it's done really well. There you can see the tail, which I think that is done really well, and that kind of just has all these different joints, which I think that is pretty cool. So you can move it up, down, up, down. I recommend keeping it down for better balance, because I've had a few instances of this tying a topple over. There you can see the back, which there is a spot for a minifigure if you wish to. There you can see all of the detailing, which, yeah, I think it's a really good dragon, but it's just not as much to show, I have to admit. Like, I'm sorry if this is a bit short on this. I'm going to try to make it at least a couple minutes long, this clip. But there you can see this, which there is the neck joint, which I think that's pretty cool. It can sort of move, but not too much. There you can see the neck again, can move there, or do a 360. And then there is the head, which there you can see the top of the head, and there is the side angle, which that is pretty awesome. And then here we can see this side angle, which that is pretty awesome too, and there is the head. And then if we move down the jaw, you can see there's no tile inside the mouth, and we have that claw piece, and that is the underside, and they do use the shield. Then here you can see the dragon from this angle, which there, if you look at the body, you got an ice piece there, which I think that's a really cool idea. The fact they're really trying to go for this ice feeling of the dragon, and there you can see what it looks like, and it's such a wide dragon. Like, honestly, it was quite hard to find a position where this dragon worked, and it fit perfectly fine. But that's sort of how I ended up displaying him, due to the fact it being so tall. But the wings can do a 360. You can basically put them any direction you want. You can, well, I think, yeah, look, you can do that. You can sort of get it in any pose that you really want it to be. There you can see that part. And then the legs, well, the legs are kind of a different story. You can do basically you can do a 360 with it. You can pose it sort of anywhere that way and like that. But keep in mind, if you do go too far, this element will pop off. But honestly, I do not recommend it. I wouldn't say this dragon is the best for playing with. Like, displaying it is hard enough. It like topples over a lot. So that is something I'd really say be careful of. It's cool that they've used all these inverted tiles, which I think they seriously should have used for the back of Giant Man, and the characters like that. And yeah, so there you can see the Ice Dragon, which I think is quite unique compared to all of the other dragons. So here you can see the castle of the Forsaken Emperor, which this looks such a good build, but my only issue is with it, and it's kind of what we got with season 4 with the set with the temple. It's not accurate. It doesn't really depict what we see. You can see a photo on now. Yeah, that is what it's meant to look like, and compared to this. So exactly, I don't really know what's going on, but let's take a look at this anyways. So here you can see the turret first, which this does look pretty cool. I call it a turret because it's not exactly a turret, but then again, it's sort of like a watchtower turret, because it does have this at the top, if that actually makes any sense. And if it doesn't, well, I apologise for that. So here you can see this, which I think this is a pretty cool build. It's like a massive crossbow, which sort of reminds me of things that I've seen, like old medieval classic catapults, which, yeah, that's a pretty unique thing. I did like the way that they had connected these brown tree-like pieces to this metal wire, which I believe that was introduced in the Stigi Moloch set from 20 2018 of Jurassic World, which that is pretty awesome. There you can see that. And yeah, looking at all of the detail, that is pretty great. It does pop off a bit, but it can turn 360 and it can do a 180 here. And you can see if you press that down, it does fire them out, and that literally does nothing here. That is just for the aesthetic of this. But then moving on down here, you can see the roof, which here there's nothing really special. You've got the two riot shields and the back of that, which I do think that is pretty interesting. And then moving on down here, you can see this, which I think that looks cool, the wall. And then we got, I believe that's the X-Wing window shield, which I think is really cool, and they reuse parts like that for unconventional methods, like making it an ice wall. Not exactly full, but it works well. So there you can see that, and there you can see a spider. And then if we look at the rest of the bottom, I'll show you the main feature. I like those corner tiles. It kind of just gives some more added detail. But as you can see, there is a switch. And the idea is that you can see that moving. You kind of just flip it forward. That's literally it. You just flip it forward. It's kind of anticlimactic. And you can fit a minifigure in there if I can find one. Which then you can see you can fit a minifigure in a side. And of course, Spider-Ham's not included. I said that he would be reappearing, but not. I didn't plan for this soon. But that's just a figure that I just happened to grab at hand. But there you can see that, which is pretty cool that you can fit a minifigure in there. But now let's take a look at the actual main Forsaken Castle itself. So here you can see the Emperor, or Zane, sitting up there, towering over everything, which I think that is such a good angle. I think it just looks so menacing up there in a really cool way. And there you can see these massive pillars, which I will show in greater detail in a minute. But let's take a look at the top of the roof of this, and then I will work my way down. So here you can see the roof of this, which, yeah, I think this is done pretty well. There you can see it kind of goes all the way round, and they use those pyramid parts. And then we have some masonry bricks, and they also use this build, which is kind of funny, because if we replace one of these with a flat stud, it'd be the build of the Fang Blade, which is a kind of fascinating fact. And there you can see the masonry bricks. And moving on down here, you can see this, which that is actually a printed element, believe it or not. I was quite surprised to see that. But yeah, it is a printed element, which is pretty nice to see. So then if we move down here, you can see the rest of the turret and this flag, which I think this flag is really cool. But I always fold it inwards so it actually fits better on the display. And oops, apologies, that should be down. But this is the outlet post, which is where the archer is meant to go. Well, it doesn't have to, but that's sort of where I like to position him. I think it works really well. And especially when you have the bow like that, it works really well. Sorry, I mean crossbow. And yeah, you can see some more riot shields there. Moving down, you can see that printed element. And then here you can see that side, which that is pretty cool. And we've got all these like spears and spikes on the side, which you can position them how you wish to, which I'll show you that in greater detail when we get down there. But then here you can see this pillar, which again, I think these pillars are really cool with all like the symmetrical parts of these circles, which are pretty awesome. Then we can see all the ice spikes. So then moving on to the other side, again here we can see that one, which I think that is pretty cool. You can see in its whole glory. And then we got these more riot shields, and it's basically the same build. These a couple of these parts are varied in color, which then here you can see the top of this, like the spiral part, if you want to call it that, which I think that is pretty cool. You've got more of a printed element and that roof. But yeah, there you can see the masonry bricks, but that is sort of it from this angle. Now let's take a look at the lower, and then we'll take a look at the back. So then here you can see this activation switch, which will show you what play feature that activates. And then if we move around, you can see some Technic and some more masonry bricks and the more pillars. But yeah, I think that's really cool, and I like the way that they've got the ice dangling down like the gingerbread house. That's pretty cool. Not really sure what those clips are. Well, I guess that's just to make sure it doesn't go past its point. You can see some more spikes, which I believe these are meant to be pointing out, but the space, I typically keep them in as well. There you can see the ice there, but there you can see all of the bottom, and there you can see this area, which I think that is pretty cool, the way that they've done the trowel. But now let's take a look at the feature, which the idea is that you put Lloyd in here, and then you can spin him down there, which that is pretty awesome. So yeah, you literally just move it back and forth. And then here you can see this lever, which that is literally where you go back and forth. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool the way it is done. There you can see these steps going up to Zane's seat, and yeah, that's basically all just translucent blue. You can see Zane sitting up there, which I think that is a pretty cool idea, the way they've done it. And then if we quickly take a look at the back, there isn't too much to show. There you can see the back if we quickly push it out, just so it all fits in the frame. If we remove Zane, there you can see the back of his seat, which I think that is pretty cool.
And there you can see the little shootout area that the archer does use, which is pretty cool. There's also a spear, so if you wanted to use that, and there again you can see the back of the seat. And there's the other one, the crossbow, which is pretty cool. But then the most interesting elements, mostly the stickers in here, we have the classic shield, which is pretty cool with the sticker of the Emperor. And then there's also another sticker down here of Zane, which I think that looks pretty cool. I don't get, hang on, his shoulder pads I think are the wrong way. Yeah, they're meant to, oh, hang on, unless I've got this on the wrong way, which I will double check that. But there you can see that, which I think that is pretty cool. And there's also a little bit of writing underneath. And there's also one of Vex, which is pretty cool on that one there. And then my final note for this area is that the fact you can see there's a few little tools in here, and there's also a pair of skating shoes somewhere in the bottom of that. But yeah, that's the interior of the set. Overall, guys, I think this is a really awesome set. Yeah, it's not accurate like I showed on screen earlier, but it's still a good set for what they've done. The dragon is great. The build is great. It's definitely one of the, I would say, the better big sets due to the fact it's so unique. Like the colour scheme. Lately, the colour scheme's been great. They've been really going out there. But yeah, I think this is a really good set. What do you guys think? Leave your opinions in the comment section below. And I shall see you in tomorrow's video, guys. I'll see you there. Bye for now.